I did a video on my most worn clothing of 2022, these sweatpants would 100% be on there. I think I wear them in almost every single video. Hi Beans, what is up? How are you guys doing? How are you? It is the last day of 2022. How did we get here? Nobody knows. It doesn't feel real, but I know we're all feeling the same way and we feel the same exact way every single year, except it just gets faster and faster until we all die. So, yeah. But on a more fun, happy, good note, we're gonna talk about my most listened to music of 2022 today. This is one of my favorite videos to do every year, and I know you guys enjoy it, so I hope you're excited. This is really fun for me. I am getting over being sick. The day after Christmas, I suddenly didn't know how to exist and felt like garbage, but I'm feeling better now, so yay for that. So a few things before we jump in. I will have timestamps down there if you don't really care about all of this other stuff, but first thing is I want to stress that this is my most listened to music of 2022, not my ranking of 2022, because I've considered doing my top 10 albums of the year. It's just I couldn't do it. I just want to show you guys genuinely what I listened to this year. This is also done using Last.fm. I'm one person who honestly does not get that excited over Spotify Wrapped because I keep track of these exact stats throughout the whole year and I use Last.fm to do it. I can't recommend them enough. It is so cool because you can see the exact number of times you listen to any song, album, artists, the exact right down to the numbers. I think it's so much cooler than Spotify Wrapped. Oh, now that I'm starting to talk, my voice is starting to sound bad already. Oh goody. The last thing I want to say quickly just before we get into it, just because somebody is not in my top 10 or even my top 50, because I will show you all of my top 50, it doesn't mean I don't like them. This happens every time. People are like, but I thought you liked this person. Honestly, the way I listen to music these days is I listen to what's new. I never used to be like that, but I think having this job and doing this for a living has turned me into a person that just listens to whatever is the newest album out. Who you're gonna see for the most part in my top artists and the albums that you're gonna see are mostly going to be albums that were new this year. So if one of the artists who I really love didn't put out any new music this year, they might not even be in my top 50. So don't panic, don't freak out in the comments because this happened last year. So we're gonna start out with my top 10 albums of 2022. And again, this is most listened to, not necessarily my ranking of albums. And actually, I have been announcing these day by day over on Instagram. I've been posting photos inspired by each of my top 10 most listened to albums of 2022. If you want to check that out, check it out on Instagram. It's been really fun, and the feedback that I've gotten on the photos has been amazing, and it's been really cool. So go check those photos out if you want. But let's get into it. If you have been following those photos over on my Instagram, the order has kind of changed already because when it got time to take those photos, I was listening to those albums a lot to give myself inspiration for what to do for the photos. And so my top 10, everything is so close for the most part. Everything is so close that the order's changed. And the funny thing is I have two albums tied. 10 and 9 are tied down to the exact number for the number of plays this year. Tied at number 10/9. We have Cheers by Jukebox the Ghost and Super Ache by Conan Gray. These both have exactly 500 plays. So let's start with Cheers first. Cheers by Jukebox. If you guys don't know, Jukebox, I always consider them to be my favorite band, the band that has gotten me through the most over the past 4 or 5 years or so. And they dropped this album this year, and I got to do a video on the album. I got to interview the band, which is still just wild to me, and I just think it's such a fun album. And yeah, I've listened to it a bunch. I've seen Jukebox twice this year, and I'm gonna see them again in March, so I'm ready to go. But it's such a fun album, and as always, when I talk about Jukebox, I'm gonna say, if you haven't listened to them yet, please just check them out. They might not be your style because they're just they're very different and they're very unique, and they have a bit of a quirky sound, I like to call it, so they might not be for you. But I have had multiple people come to me in the past month or so and tell me, oh, I bought tickets to Jukebox because of you, and that is the biggest compliment in the entire universe. So please check them out. and their album Cheers, and honestly all of their albums, because I love this band, and for them to be in my top 10 albums makes my heart really happy. And then of course Super Ache. Super Ache, oh man. It's not an album you necessarily want to have in your top 10 because it's sad, but this album has songs on it that like have described my life to a T at certain points this year. And when this album came out, I was like currently in the middle of a bit of a disaster, no pun intended. Memories, Footnote, and Yours, that trio of songs, like just nothing comes close to that for me. I'm obsessed with all three of those. Movies and The Exit, the first and the last track, have like been the songs to grow on me the most over time. I adore both of them so damn much. Summer Child has also grown on me because that was one of my least favorites at first, but now like I listen to it and it just like it feels like pure magic. At number 8, for my most listened to albums of the year, with 504 plays, so just 4 more plays than the last 2, is Calm by 5 Seconds of Summer. Calm, I mean, I don't know what to say. It was around the end of last year when I got into Five Sauce, and I got into them in a very aggressive kind of way. It's just, I don't know, it's a gorgeous album, and it's an era that I wish I had been there for, but I mean, that's true of literally everything by Five Sauce that has come out since the beginning of their existence. So in terms of like my favorite songs from it, that's a constant changing one. But I think Wildflower will always have a special place in my heart because that is the song that came on that made me go, I really like this song, let me see who it's by. Oh, it's by 5 Seconds of Summer? Maybe I should do a series on them on the channel. And then that's where it started. So that song will always have a special place in my heart. At number 7, we have a little old album called Sounds Good, Feels Good by 5 Seconds of Summer with 534 plays. Again, all of these are super close right here. I think Sounds Good, Feels Good would be below Calm if The Girl Who Cried Wolf was not on this album, because that is my most played song on this album. That is my favorite 5 Seconds of Summer song. That is my comfort song. That is the song that I listen to when I just feel like I need a hug. Like, it is everything to me, and I've talked about it 750 times, so I know I don't need to talk about it again. And the album as a whole is just such a fun, like, nostalgic trip back to that pop punk kind of aesthetic. And when I was taking the photos for the Instagram thing, I went to like this Tumblr, MySpace, emo, mirror pics with the Converse and the digital camera. Like, that's the kind of aesthetic I went for, because that's exactly what it makes me feel. At number 6, with 580 plays, we have Give Me a Minute by Lizzie McAlpine, my I think number 1 find of this year, my number 1 artist find of the year. Lizzie just went from like, who's Lizzie McAlpine, to, oh my god, I'm obsessed with Lizzie McAlpine in 4 seconds, 5 seconds I should say. I listened to Give Me a Minute before I listened to 5 Seconds Flat, and I instantly fell in love with it. I didn't record a reaction to this album, and I just remember like feeling so peaceful the first time I listened to it. I was sitting here when I listened to the first half, and then I continued to listen to it in the kitchen while I was making dinner, and it was magical. And it's an experience listening to an album for the first time that I will always remember that I didn't film. I think my favorites on this album are constantly changing. At first, I knew it was my favorite because I love the plot twists in that. I love just how heart-wrenching it is because you're like, oh, this is so great, and then it just punches you in the gut. It's fantastic. Ooh, see, right now I think Apple Pie is my favorite, but I've been through periods of time where Pancakes for Dinner was my favorite, Same Boat was my favorite, Mean Something was my favorite, To the Mountains was my favorite when I was in Yosemite this summer because it just felt right. It's just an album that I adore, and I think I always will. It feels like an album that has, one, obviously great replay value, but also longevity. Like, it's an album I can always go back to. And I just love Lizzie. I just love Lizzie McAlpine, and I'm finally seeing her live next year, and I'm so excited about it. I'm so freaking excited about it. At number 5, with 582 plays, just 2 more than Give Me a Minute, we have Youngblood by 5 Seconds of Summer, which I still consider to be my favorite Five Sauce album. Could it end up being Five Sauce 5? Maybe. But I still feel like I would need more time to like make that decision fully. Youngblood was the album that just grabbed me so immediately when I heard it. Like, that is one of my best experiences listening to an album for the first time, because it was just so shockingly incredible. I didn't know how to comprehend just how good it was. Hearing songs like If Walls Could Talk for the first time, More, like hearing those for the first time, I just didn't know what to do. I just adore this album. I love the rock kind of influence that this album has in comparison to their other albums. It just feels like the most rock heavy, and I really love that about this album, like the intensity and the dark vibes and all of that. And that's also something that I've talked about a lot, so I don't feel like I need to go into that too much. Yeah, it's my favorite Five Sauce album, and there's really not much more I can say about that. I mean, freaking Valentine is on this album, which obviously if you know me, you know. At number 4, with 769 plays, we have Midnights by Taylor Swift. Yes, she managed to get this high up with this damn album, because no, I couldn't stop listening to it. Listen, it's just my nature as a longtime Swiftie and longtime Taylor fan. When she drops an album, I don't stop listening to it. I mean, the most aggressive version of that for me was definitely Folklore. I didn't stop that album for months on end. That also has to do with where I was mentally at that time. You know, I think it's crazy because if I look at my reaction to Midnights the first time through, there's a lot of songs like I didn't necessarily vibe with, and I was really, really skeptical about it the first time I listened to it. And now it just like couldn't be farther from what I feel. Like I'm obsessed with every song, like all the way through that entire album. I mean, there's some that are lower in my ranking, like easily, but at the end of the day, like every single one of those songs I'm happy to listen to. I don't skip any of the songs on that album. And the fact that it went from like, oh, it's a 13 track album, JK, it's 20 whole tracks, that also makes an album more likely to to be higher for me in my most listened to, because it's more songs to play through. Like, in case it wasn't clear, the plays numbers are the number of times I listened to songs from that album, not the number of times I listened to the album all the way through. I think that's understood though. And I think I feel confident in saying that it is my third favorite Taylor album. And I've also, big, shocking, breaking news here. I think I finally reached a point where I have to come to terms with and admit this to myself, that I think Evermore is my favorite Taylor album. I know I've been saying Folklore forever, but a big part of why that was true was because of what the album means to me. Because Folklore means more to me than Evermore does. But I think I listen to Evermore more often than I listen to Folklore. Like, I like the songs on Evermore more, but I still think it goes like Evermore, Folklore, Midnights. Those two albums to me, like, they're everything, and I don't know, but I think I've come to a point where I have to admit it. I think Evermore is my favorite Taylor album. I'm sorry. I know, it's a big deal. It's a big deal to me. I don't know, maybe not. No, I think it is. I think Evermore is my favorite. All right, we have made it to the top 3. I feel like you know what they are. I feel like you know what these 3 have to be. If not, you know at least what 2 out of 3 of them are, right? At number 3, with 832 plays, we have 5 Sauce 5 by 5 Seconds of Summer. Oh my god, shocking! This is a great example of listening to an album on repeat for like a month straight after it came out. This was all I listened to from like September 23rd until Midnights came out, essentially. And then it got interrupted by Midnights. I will say that if Midnights didn't come out, I would have had higher numbers on 5 Sauce 5. But Midnights kind of like bumped it, and also just like with stuff that happened in my life. And October, I just wasn't listening to music at all for like a week straight, and that kind of interrupted everything. But of course, 5 Sauce 5, and I'm excited to like start listening to it again because I haven't listened to it much in a minute. And I put it on the other day when I was trying to think of my photos to do, and I was like, oh, it's so good. Like, Carousel is stupidly incredible. Why is Carousel as good as it is? I feel like it's underrated too. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Carousel is underrated. I still will defend Emotions. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I just think it's an important song to so many people, and for that, I appreciate it. I still think Me, Myself, and I is my favorite single. I know that's probably most people's least favorite, and I don't think it's lyrically that strong a song, but it's addictive as all hell. What Can I Say? You Don't Go to Parties. Oh my god, I can't believe this is a real album. Caramel. Best Friends is so cute. I just can't get over how cute that one is and how incredible that one's going to be on tour. When we all sing that with Five Sauce, oh my god, it's gonna be amazing. Bleach was my biggest grower on the album because I liked it the first time, but now it's one of my favorites. Same with Redline, both of those. Mood Swings is stupid. Like, we all just whatever. Mood Swings. I also have a lot of love and appreciation for this album in the sense that it means a lot to me because it was the era that I got to be here for with Five Sauce because I just connected to them. I don't want to talk, I'll cry if I talk about it too much, but I connected to this band like so quickly and so strongly, and I was so sad like thinking about all the time that I missed with them. Like not being there for the release of all of these albums, but to be able to be here for Five Sauce 5 and be a part of like the day the track list was dropped to like one by one all damn day and all the different singles being dropped and the interviews and everything. It was just like, of course I've been involved in eras before with other artists like Taylor, for example, but I don't know, there was just something really special about being a part of this release of this whole album drop, and it just made me really happy. And I love them so much, and I mean they're freaking all over my top 10. We all saw that coming. At number 2 with 1,011 plays, we have Emails I Can't Send by Sabrina Carpenter. This album I think is the album that I connected with the most this year, that like I just truly felt like every single word and every single song you just like, I mean maybe not because I Liked a Boy, but almost every single song you can like see yourself in. And the writing on this album is insane. It is so connectable. Like Tornado Warnings, I'm never getting over how much I love the writing on that, and like the beat, like the whole setup of being in the park during like the beginning of a tornado and setting that up. That feeling of, I know I'm not supposed to be here, but I'm gonna do what feels good in the moment. To have songs like that on the same album as like Nonsense and Bet You Wanna, those two songs which were not my favorites at first, but now I adore both of them. To have those songs next to songs like How Many Things and Tornado Warnings, it's an album that flows so perfectly, even with such drastically like different emotions all over the place. Like it is the best like flowing album I feel like I've ever heard. And it doesn't even really have like transitions or anything that make it have that flow. It's just the track placement is so perfect. And Decode, oh my god, I think that's my favorite song on the album because it is one that means a lot to me lyrically. Listening to it live this year was insane. Yes, I did see her live this year and it was so much fun. That song just lyrically means the freaking world to me. I'll just say that. And to have a song like Because I Liked a Boy that so directly addresses everything that she went through and her getting to actually tell her side of the story finally. I wasn't like a huge Sabrina fan before this album. I didn't not like her music or anything. I just was like, I didn't really gravitate towards her. But this album for me was just like, oh my god. Obsessed with her, obsessed with the music. I have so much respect for her. I feel like I've learned a lot about her this year and I've gotten to know her better as an artist, and I don't know. I just love her and I'm so grateful for this album. This has brought us to my number 1 most listened to album of 2022. I think a good chunk of you guys know which album this is gonna be. With 1,181 listens, we have 5 Seconds Flat by Lizzie McAlpine. I knew this was gonna be my most listened to album very early on. When I first heard it, I didn't stop listening to it, and not only that, like, I still consistently go back to this album like at least once a week, which is not usual for me. Like I'm not someone that listens to music that way. I just kind of listen to stuff a lot when it comes out. But 5 Seconds Flat and Emails I Can't Send are 2 albums that I have come back to on at least a weekly basis, probably more than once a week since they've come out. And for me, that's kind of a big deal because I overplayed the crap out of both of them when they came out and then still consistently come back to them all the time. 5 Seconds Flat, another album that one I just connect to so much. Ceilings, if you know, like it's just one of the best songs freaking ever made. Ceilings, What a Shame, and Firearm, having those 3 songs together on the track list and them being my 3 favorites from the album, it's just like, I barely survived that. I barely am able to make it through those 3 tracks alive every time, because I just, like, they still hit. They still hit the way they did when I first heard them, if not even harder. I just feel them through my freaking soul. Lizzie has an incredible voice, which you already know. The writing is just so creative and poetic, ingenious. There's fun songs to sing along to. That's a big thing for me too. My favorite music tends to be songs that I can sing along. I know I'm not the only one that's true for, because I have another friend who I had this exact conversation with. Like, we listen to music with the intent of singing along to it. That is kind of like one of my things about the music I listen to most. It's music I sing along to. It's an emotional album. It's got sad songs, mostly just sad songs. I mean, the short film's incredible. It's just, I think, probably in my top 10 favorite albums of all time, at least as of right now. I will continue to listen to this album consistently for a long time, I think. I just love it so much, and I'm so excited to see Lizzie next year. And she recently, like, made a kind of hint that the next album is finished. She was, like, talking about the fact that she has a new boyfriend, and she said, like, sorry, the next album was written a while ago, so it's still sad. And I was like, does that mean it's coming out soon? I don't know. You know what? Even if she didn't come out with another album for a year, I think I would still be okay with having 5 Seconds Flat and Give Me a Minute. I could still listen to those albums consistently, and she would still remain one of my favorite artists. She's just freaking amazing. But yeah, that is my top 10 most listened to albums of the year. And now we can take a quick look at my top 50 here. Obviously, Harry's House was up there. I will say it would have been higher if I didn't stop listening to it. Not because of Harry, but because of what the album made me think about. It made me really sad, and I won't get into it, but it would have been a lot higher if I didn't have an experience that made me not want to listen to the album anymore. This is what it feels like, of course. There's 5 Seconds of Summer by 5 Seconds of Summer. Yeah, you'll see a lot of albums, a lot of Gracie Abrams, one of my daily go-tos, more Evermore, of course, Lexi Jade, more Five Sauce. Freaking SZA's already up here because I'm obsessed with SOS. But there you go, that's my top 50 most listened to albums of the year. Yay, yay. These next 2 sections will move a little bit faster, just because I feel like the albums one's like the biggest one, at least to me it is. But we're gonna get into my top 10 artists, top 10 most listened to artists of the year, which you are pretty predictable now that you've seen the albums, I feel like. But we'll go through them quickly anyway. At number 10 with 467 plays, we have the one and only Demi Lovato. I really got into, obviously, Demi's discography this year, but I got to learn a lot more about Demi. I watched like the Simply Complicated documentary this year. I really respect Demi as an artist, as a person who has been through so much shit and is like stayed so strong through so much of it and has continued to put out music that they really want to be putting out. Like, Holy Fuck is such a good album, and it's an album I haven't listened to in a minute now that I think about it, but I need to go back to it. It's such a quality album top to bottom, and an album that I wanted from them so badly, and I was so happy that we got, because it was like, don't forget, grew up and got really damn good. Obviously, Demi has what I believe to be one of the best voices in the music industry. I don't think anybody can really argue with that, but I think at the end of the day, like, Holy Fuck is my favorite Demi album. That and The Artist Starting Over, though, I think both of those are just so damn good. So I'm really glad Demi's in my top 10. At number 9 with 678 plays, we have Ash. Ash is actually another artist that I did get to see live this year, and it was so much fun, and it was like such a great experience. It was a concert that I went to alone, and you know, usually that makes me anxious, and I definitely was a little stressed, but I ended up, like, once she came on stage, I just remember feeling so relaxed and happy and in the moment. I cried during like Taylor and Always. So a good chunk of that is the album Ashlyn. But of course, Ash also came out with Ray this year, which is such a good album. I still can't get over how good that album is. I think On My Way is my favorite track on that album right now, even though I know like it wasn't as close to the top originally for me, but that song gives me so much hope. It's so like bright, it's so fun. If you have not listened to Ray as a full project yet, please give it a listen. I don't know if it'll be your style necessarily, because I do think Ash is another very, very unique artist, but just give it a shot. It's such good music, it's such good writing, there's so much emotion put into her music and honesty and just like realness. I don't know. She's an artist that I'm so grateful to have found and gotten to know. And another one I'm really happy is in my top 10. At number 8 with 703 plays, we have Harry Styles. Like I said, like Harry's House, I love that album. It just makes me think of a thing that makes me sad, so I can't listen to it anymore. Have you ever had that happen to you where somebody like ruins an album for you, or like an artist or a song, and it makes you really mad because like you want to listen to it but you can't anymore? Yeah, that's Harry's House for me. But of course, we also have Self-Titled and Fine Line from him as well. For me, I think my Harry Styles album ranking goes Harry's House, Self-Titled, Fine Line, which I think is unpopular because I think most people really like Fine Line, and I like Fine Line, but it's just not my favorite from him. But yeah, I mean, I still love Harry, and I still love Harry's House, I just can't really listen to it anymore. At number 7 with 752 plays, we have Gracie Abrams. Oh my god, Gracie Abrams. I just don't know how to explain like what she is to me and what she means to me, because she's just so, like, such good day-to-day, like, just throw on the whole discography kind of music. That's the way that I listen to her constantly. I just throw on her whole discography at any given time because I love every single song she has put out. There's not a song of hers that has been put out that I do not like. Whenever she comes out with her next album, I will be there, I will be ready, and I will be so damn excited because I just love everything she puts out. I mean, This Is What It Feels Like is such a quality album. It is beautiful, it is sad, it makes you feel things, her voice makes you feel things. I love her just whole aesthetic, her whole style. I think she's such an incredible artist through and through, and I can't believe that I get to see her. I get to see her the same day I see Taylor Swift and Phoebe Bridgers. I'm not gonna survive that day. The day is not gonna go well for me. I will die. At number 6 with 887 plays, we have Conan Gray. Who's surprised? Not me. Obviously we had Super Ache, but I also love Kid Crow, all his little droplet singles like Overdrive, and I love his EPs. Like Lookalike is such a good song. Oh, The King is one of his best songs. He has a lot of really good songs like from his early career that I recommend you check out. If you only know him by like Super Ache and Kid Crow, check out his stuff from before then, because that stuff is just as good. Crush Culture, oh, it's like pop perfection to me. Idle Town is the most dreamy song I've ever heard. He's another artist though where like he doesn't have a song that I don't like. I like every single song he has ever put out. Like Gracie, I could just put on his entire discography and just listen to it. At number 5, we have, of course, Sabrina Carpenter with 1,233 plays. Yes, the vast majority of that is Emails I Can't Send, and then the other stuff might be the version of Skinny Dipping that is not the album version, plus Exhale. I don't listen to her like old stuff that much. Oh, Sue Me would be part of that, but like I don't listen to her old albums that much, so most of that is gonna be Emails I Can't Send with like a handful of other songs. Paris, you know, those big ones. And again, Sabrina's an artist who I just like have truly grown to adore and love so very much. I can't wait to get one of her albums up on my wall. I'm really looking forward to that. Yes, I'm gonna update this soon. I haven't updated it in like a year and a half. People are always commenting like, how do you not have this album? And it's like, I literally haven't touched that in a year and a half. So I'm gonna completely redo it very soon, hopefully like in January. And I'm gonna get all my new albums and I'm gonna shuffle everything around. It's gonna be great. And Sabrina's getting a front spot. I've already decided that because I just love and respect her so damn much, and I just feel so freaking angry at the universe for what they did to her. So, not me getting emotional. So I just want to give her a big hug. And I love her, and I'm so happy that she is a part of my life now. And I'm so grateful to her for her album, for her music, and whatever, you get it. I love her, okay? At number 4 with 1,430 plays, we have Taylor Swift. Okay, listen. Duh. You might be thinking that seems low for Taylor, and like I probably would have thought the same, except I really didn't listen to her much until Midnights came out. Like clearly I still did, because there's still like 600 to 700 plays of that is not Midnights, but like I don't go back and listen to her older stuff that often. I just listen to like when the new stuff comes out, and it's not that I don't love those albums, please don't get me wrong. Speak Now, Taylor's version, is going to end us all, and I cannot wait when that comes out. I'm not gonna shut up about it. Yeah, she dropped Midnights, and then my whole personality became Midnights. I mean, if you're a Swiftie, you know how it goes. That's just the way that it is. At number 3, with 1,555 plays, we have Jukebox the Ghost, my lovely favorite damn band who I've talked about 100 times. I just listen to them so much because they make me so damn happy. They bring me a lot of joy and a lot of comfort and a lot of love, and they're just my favorite band forever and always. So at number 2, with 1,762 plays, we have Lizzie McAlpine. Oh my god, who saw this coming? I mean, we already talked about her, so I won't go into detail again, but yeah. Lizzie has become one of my favorite artists of all time, but specifically this year. She's my favorite, like, new artist of the year, because I think in my top 10, the only artists who are new to me are Lizzie and Sabrina not even really Sabrina, and Gracie I think was last year. So I think Lizzie's the only artist in this top 10 who was like brand new to me this year, and she shot right up that list so damn fast. So I want you to remember my number 2, Lizzie McAlpine, 1,762 plays. My number 1 most listened to artist of the year, yeah, it's 5 Seconds of Summer, with a solid 4,073 plays. I don't know what you want me to say. The beginning of the year, I think I listened to them like the most, and then not only that, they drop a new album, and then obviously what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put that on repeat. 5 Seconds Summer. I mean, we already talked about them again, so I won't continue to talk about them, but they just mean a lot to me. And if you're part of Five Sauce fam, I know you get it. They're just such a comfort vibe through and through, and they're like the realest people ever. I don't know, there's something about like watching their interviews and watching any of the videos they post and the behind the scenes stuff that they post. They just seem so real and genuine and honest, and like that's just very attractive to me when I'm looking at like who my favorite artists are, like what the music that I'm interested in. Like if the people putting out that music are being real and genuine and honest, then I'm gonna be more attracted to that music. Does that make sense? I don't know, maybe that just came out really stupid, but them as a band and them as people and them as artists and musicians and everything, they're just perfect. Okay, I just love them so much. I can't wait to see where else they go from here. If we get a tour in 2023, I mean, awesome. If we don't, that's fine. Like, they've been going crazy. They deserve as much rest or whatever as they want, as they need. But if we got a tour, I wouldn't be mad about it. And here is 11 through 50 of the rest of my artists from the year. I don't really have a whole ton to say, but there they are. Take a look at them. They're beautiful. They're all fantastic artists. And again, if you're looking at this list going, oh my god, so-and-so isn't even in the top 50, like, don't panic. They probably didn't drop new music this year. Oh yeah, the Chainsmokers, by the way, that's just 5 Seconds of Summer, Who Do You Love? That's literally all that is. And this is the quickest category, I think, that we go through, and this is tracks. I don't find this as interesting because really the majority of like top 50 tracks are just the tracks from my top 10 albums. That's really what this is. But for those of you who are interested, I'll go through very quickly. So actually 11 and 10 are tied. Both have 109 plays, and that is Tornado Warnings by Sabrina Carpenter and Take My Hand by 5 Seconds of Summer. At number 9, we have What a Shame with 112 plays, Lizzie McAlpine. Again, that's one of my favorites on that album. That, Ceilings, and Firearm. Number 8, Skinny Dipping by Sabrina Carpenter. I listened to this song on repeat a lot at the beginning of the year. It was one of my favorites on the album. It no longer is, for personal reasons. At number 7, we have Already Over with 116 plays by, of course, Sabrina Carpenter. Number 6, all right, here we go. We got Blender with 117 plays by 5 Seconds of Summer. At number 5, we have my favorite song on Emails I Can't Send, Decode by Miss Sabrina. Number 4, this is actually where we make a big jump. So I'll take a little longer with these top 4 because you know, you saw those numbers were all pretty close together. My 4th most listened to, with 142 plays, is a song called Let It Rest by Chaz Cardigan. This is probably my most unique song on this whole list. Chaz Cardigan opened for Jukebox the Ghost when I saw them in April. He played this song and I just really instantly fell in love with it, and then I fell in love with him and this album that it's on. Like, I listened to it a whole ton, but this song in particular, not only do I just love the way it sounds, not only do I love singing along to it, but I also just connected to it. Like, that's for me the biggest thing listening to music, and I know a lot of people disagree with this idea, even though I think it's entirely up to personal preference. For me, the more I can relate to a song, the more I'm going to like it. That's just the way that I listen to music. So yeah, I related to this and I just felt this song so much, and so I listened to it on repeat for like hours. And that's probably why it's so high. I don't think I've listened to it a ton since early in the year, and I still love this song. It's still such a good song. At number 3, of course, we have Ceilings by Lizzie McAlpine with 146 plays. It is my favorite song on 5 Seconds Flat. I know that's a basic opinion because it's most people's favorite song on that album, but it's because it's a good song. It's because it's a very good song. So it's fair. It's a fair opinion. At number 2, with 171 plays, we have Me, Myself, and I by 5 Seconds of Summer. Again, I think this is my favorite of the singles. It's most addictive. It's most fun to sing along to. At number 1, with 220 plays, we have my most listened to song of the year, guys. Complete Mess by 5 Seconds of Summer. This one I feel like was kind of obvious. It was the first single off of 5 Sauce 5, so it was that one song that we got, and I just couldn't stop listening to it because it was the vibe of the new project, but it was the only one we had, so it was the only thing that we could hold on to for a little while. So I just played it and played it and played it. And I mean, for good reason. It's a damn good song. It's a song that to me is always gonna mean a lot to me because it was like that first single while being a part of the era of this release that I was going to be able to be a part of for this band who I love so much. And so I'm so happy to have them at number 1 with Complete Mess. But here you can take a look at 11 through 50. Well, Memories, again, like my favorite song off of Super 8. We got a jukebox song up here from their new album, Wasted. The Girl Who Cried Wolf. Okay, yeah, we know. Also got 2011. Rockland by Gracie Abrams actually made it on here because that's one of my favorites from not only that album, but her whole discography. But yeah, as you can see, the majority of these are just songs from my top albums, which is to be expected. But yeah, there you have it. That is 11 through 50. But that is my most listened to music of 2022. I feel like it was incredibly predictable, and I don't know if it's actually that interesting. I hope you enjoyed it regardless. With this being my last video of the year as well, I just want to say a huge thank you to you guys for being here this year and watching the videos I put out. And whether you watched one video or most of the videos, I really, really am grateful for all the support on the channel and on the Patreon, social media, or whatever. You guys are just so freaking nice to me, and it's something that I struggle with literally at least like 3 times a week. I like kind of have like a crisis of like being stressed because I'm just like, I don't understand like how I have what I have and how this community came to be, and it's just, it blows my mind. It doesn't feel real. Every once in a while I'm reminded that like I actually do what I always wanted to do for a living, and it's impossible to comprehend. It's thanks to you guys. Like without you I wouldn't be able to do this, and I owe everything to you. It's like another year has gone by where I've gotten to do what I love and live like the life that I live because you guys are still here. It means so much to me. I can't even stress it enough. I can't explain it. I can't put it into words. It's not something I can explain, but I just thank you is all I can say. Thank you so much for being here and for hanging out with me. I hope you had a good year. If you didn't, I think next year will be better. I think 2023 is gonna be a good one. I think for me it's gonna be better than this year because I have a lot of good things already planned, exciting things to look forward to, and I feel like the end of this year has kind of been a huge stepping stone for me in the right direction, just in a lot of ways. Like I've really been stepping out of my comfort zone and finally doing things that I kind of was scared to do before, and I feel like I've grown a lot in this year, yes, but specifically in the past couple months, I feel like I've done a whole lot of growing and a whole lot of realization and just become aware of a lot that I want to change in the coming year. And so it's a year that I'm really looking forward to and I'm really excited about, and I think there's going to be a lot of new exciting opportunities and experiences in this coming year, and I hope that's true for you too. I think it's going to be a good one. I really do. But thank you guys for being here and for literally everything else. I love you so damn much, and I'll see you guys in 2023. Bye!